Hi there, it's Lesley from Hungry Hefty Crafts, and today I've got a card. Actually, I made two of them very similar, but I'm only sharing the video of one of them here. I'm calling it Ellie's Night Sky because I've got this cute little elephant stamp that I have coloured with Copic markers using a bit of a no-line colouring technique, and this beautiful background which I've made using distress inks. I'm using 3 colours of distress inks here. I've got the Blueprint Sketch, the Wilted Violet, and I think it was a Dusty Concord on there as well. And I'm using the mini ink blending tool to blend these colours together on a piece of Tim Holtz Ranger watercolour cardstock, and then spritzing that with some water in a mister. I like spritzing it with water because it actually blends the colours together really nicely. So while that's drying over to the side, I'm going to stamp this cute little elephant, and it's from the Ellie stamp set from Avery Elle. And I'm actually going to stamp it off first of all on some scratch paper and then stamp it onto some Nina Solo White cardstock, and this gives a really light impression. I'm not using black ink, I'm using the Adirondack Espresso colour, and I'm going to be using my Copic markers to colour this little cutie in. I'm starting off with the darkest shade, which is W5, and I'm touching up the areas which I think would be the darkest, then coming in with W3 and then over the top with W1, blending out all those colours. And I went back in a few times with some of the colours to make sure it was blended correctly and that it looked nice. Then for the ear, I added some R00, and then over the top went in with some of the warm grey tones again to add some texture. Next I fussy cut it, leaving a little bit of a border, and went back to my background, and I'm using this Wishing and Sending stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to put 2 of these stamps, 2 of these greetings together on one acrylic block, and then stamp it using some Versamark ink. And this is a clear sticky ink, which is perfect for embossing because that's what I'm going to be doing today. And you won't see it stamped because the ink is clear, but when I sprinkle the white embossing powder over the top, it sticks to the ink. Now, this greeting is very fine, so I've taped my project to a board so I could hold it closer to the camera. And to show you what I do if I get any little bits of powder in the wrong place, I use a piercing tool to remove any of those crystals before heating it up. Now I'm going to move over to using some embossing paste. This is actually really fun and I don't do it enough, but I thought I would add some stars with embossing paste to this background. So I'm manoeuvring my stencil. This stencil I actually cut myself just out of some acetate. You can get proper stencil or mask material, but I didn't have any at the time, so I just used some acetate and I cut it out using my Silhouette Cameo. It works okay. I think it probably will not last very long, but I can just cut some more. So I'm using a palette knife to put some white embossing paste over the stars, and I'm purposely leaving the little mounds quite uneven. I'm not scraping them off because I want that texture on the stars. While that dries, I'm going to take a piece of vellum, and I've cut it out I've cut a rectangle using the Stitch Rectangle die from Fawn, and then went over the top with the Mama Elephant Hillside Border trio to create these beautiful clouds. I decided I wanted to have the stitching around the background, so I'm taping the die down, cutting side up onto my C plate, then putting the project in place and then running that through the Cuttlebug, and that gives a really nice stitched edge. Probably should have done that before I did the embossing paste because at the top here it got a little bit smooshed, but don't worry about that, I'll come and fix it later. I'm using my Zig 2A glue pen to go around the 2 sides and the bottom edge of this piece of vellum, and the smaller cloud vellum as well, and I'll line that up And I'll put an acrylic block or two on there to hold it in place while that dries. Now I said that my stars got a little bit smooshed, so I'm taking a craft knife to cut away any squishy bits. And it didn't quite work out. It was fine, but there was a little bit of a mess at the top. So I decided I would go back in with a frame. I'm using the two largest stitched rectangle dies from the large and the small set from Fawn to create a frame out of some silver mirror cardstock. And I'm going to glue this right on top using my Tombow mono adhesive. Once again, I'm going to put something heavy on that just to stick it down in place for a little while. So here's the card so far, and I've got Ellie, and I'm going to stick Ellie on with a little bit of foam adhesive just to give her some dimension. And I'm going to tuck her in slightly, just a little bit, so it looks like she's sitting amongst the clouds. Now to finish off the card, I'm adding a few little sequins just to add a little bit of shine and to bring in those silvery colours. I'm using some Ranger Multi Matte Medium to stick that down, and I use my Quick Sticks tool to help me position them correctly. So here's the finished card. Thank you so much for popping by and watching the video. Here's the purple one. I actually also made a pinky coloured one because I thought it looked really, really cute. And I was practicing my no-line copic colouring. Thanks again. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And come on over to Hungry Heffy Crafts for more crafty goodness. Ciao!